Hi, my beautiful saucies. It is your girl, the Saucy Exotical, coming back at you with another video. And today I wanted to go over that one talking point that the unambiguous portion of the Black community likes to accuse MLS people of being like the white people. They like to say that MLS people are in denial whenever the colorism conversation comes up, and MLS people happen to disagree with the unambiguous population. They say that we are in denial and that we are like behaving like white people. So I just wanted to break that down and actually illustrate how they behave more like white people when they deal with the MLS population. So let's go through a few comparisons when it comes to this country's history and examine the superiority complex that the larger society had towards Black Americans in general. Because the formerly enslaved were not just unambiguous dark-skinned Black people. They were biracial, they were light-skinned, they were multi-generationally mixed. They were Black people as a whole of all different shades. So the former enslavers had this superiority complex towards Black people. And with that superiority complex, they wanted to keep Black people at a certain level of economic growth and prosperity. They basically didn't want them to have any kind of voice. They didn't care about the experience of the former enslaved. They didn't care about what they went through. They weren't listening. They did everything they could to minimize it, much like unambiguous dark-skinned Black people today and how they treat their MLS population. The unambiguous dark-skinned Black population, not all of them, but the ones that speak the loudest, that always voices their disdain for MLS people, those are the ones that are always boasting about how they're the true Jews, they're the true Native Americans, they're the true Egyptians, they're the blueprint, they have the Eve gene. And they feel as though every other group on the face of the earth should bow down and pay homage to them for allowing us to exist. For example, if you notice as an MLS person, man or woman, when you enter a room full of unambiguous dark-skinned Black people, you can't just walk in any kind of way you want to. You can't strut in, you can't sashay in, you can't have an attitude, you can't boast about what a diva you are. You can't be silly, and you can't be too proud of yourself. You can't hold your head up too high. You have to come in being humble and sweet and make sure you acknowledge each and every person in the room. You have to smile and be overly gracious, overly nice, complimenting everyone on their hair, on their nails, on their outfit, and be just ultra nice, especially if you are, I was going to say especially if you're a woman, but it goes like that for the men too. There's a certain rule in how you have to walk in. You have to humble yourself before them, and almost like you're apologizing for existing in their presence. Same way that the former enslavers treated the formerly enslaved. They didn't want them to hold their heads too high or be too proud. Drop your eyes when you see me. Step aside when I'm walking down the street and let me have the sidewalk. And you bow down to me and pray that I let you live past today. Watch your mouth, watch your attitude, and tread lightly. That was the treatment that the former enslavers and how they treated Black people who were formerly enslaved. That's how unambiguous dark-skinned Black people who can't stand light-skinned people or MLS people, that's how they treat us. You better be humble when you approach them. It's like being light-skinned and being confident, or being light-skinned and loving who you are, is a no-no. That is the utmost disrespectful thing you can do to an unambiguous dark-skinned Black person who can't stand light-skinned people, is be proud of yourself and hold your head up high and boast about who you are and not care what other people think about it. They will literally be so upset with you that they will be almost ready to put their hands on you if they don't put their hands on you. I mean, it's been so many instances where light-skinned women have been attacked physically because they were standing there. They didn't necessarily say anything or do anything. You don't really have to. Just by you being there offends them. Just like the girl that was, the biracial girl that was being verbally assaulted by those three wildebeests in the beauty supply store. All she did was walk in and look for lashes, and she was basically threatened. And I think one of them did put their hands on her because she was, quote unquote, thinking she was better. And she was in there to start some shit, as they said. So just her existence alone was a trigger for them. It's like the entitlement of the former enslavers and unambiguous dark-skinned black people is the same. They feel entitled to tell you how to identify, what to call yourself, how to walk in a room, how to behave when you walk into a room. They feel entitled to dictate how much social activism you can participate in. They feel like they can dictate how black you are or whether or not your black card is validated or not. They feel as though they can tell you how to look, how to act, how to behave, how to address them. Even if they don't have the same rules, they can address you however they want to address you. They can feel however they want to feel, and they can voice their feelings however they want to. They can be as vocal about whatever they want to be vocal about as they want to. But MLS people cannot be. Even when we're defending ourselves, even when the BWE spaces came at us for 10 plus years, unprovoked, trying to collectively destroy our the MLS female, in particular the female. Because I'm not just going to talk about just females. I don't want to just act like this only happens to the women, but I am a woman, so this is the only perspective that I can speak from. We have several very good MLS male content creators that are speaking up from a male's perspective, like the light skin historian and For Light and Mulatto Vanguard and other content creators like Patrick C. So check those channels out if you want to hear the MLS male perspective. So another way in which the unambiguous population likes to act like the white people or the former enslavers is they spread propaganda. They spread propaganda to our MLS people. Generally, those conversations were highly vocalized by the women in the BWE spaces. And BWE spaces are Black Women Empowerment spaces. And these were primarily people like Chrissy and Mayoa's World, Queen Trauma, or whatever. The Black Mademoiselle or the Mademoiselle or whatever. Different channels who were unambiguous dark-skinned black women who were making colorism content. And they were using the colorism content to bash mixed and light-skinned women on the daily for 10 plus years, unprovoked. And what they were doing, they were spreading propaganda to smear the collective reputation of mixed and light-skinned women, so that when something happens to us, people would be totally desensitized to our plight. They were doing it to silence us. They were doing it to paint us as bullies, as the stuck-up population that was, oppressing them. And I noticed too, a lot of monocultural white women would participate in it too. I've had several instances where unambiguous dark-skinned black women and white women have come against me in the workplace. They would team up and they would basically, hate on me or something, or say something mean-spirited. I caught a lot of microaggressions from both monocultural white women and unambiguous dark-skinned black women in several instances. Because a lot of exoticals, we are offensive to them because we cross over into both of their lanes. And the way a superiority complex works is I feel like I am better than you, and I want to maintain that superiority over you by keeping you at a certain level. Say if you have like a black woman who always wears a bonnet or has pajama pants, she's loud and aggressive, she's impoverished, and she has 5 or 6 kids by 5 or 6 different daddies. That's where I want you, because you're no good to anybody, or you're not attractive to anyone, or not deemed attractive to anyone. Say in the dating market, you're not attractive to anyone as far as like in the corporate world. Nobody wants to talk to you, or nobody wants to network with you. No one sees the value or the worth in that, even though that person is a human being made in God's image, and that person indeed has value just because they're a human being, no matter how ratchet they are. But in this society, people do not deem the ratchet, degenerate people as having very much value. So if I have a superiority complex and I feel like I'm better than you, I want you to stay there. I don't want you to get educated. I don't want you to get classy. I don't want you to be pretty and soft and modest and ladylike, because now you're crossing into my lane. Now you're crossing into my lane and you're infringing on my superiority. I can't say I'm superior to you because now you have become like me. See, so that's why they don't want the monocultural unambiguous black women or the white women. They don't like exoticals because we cross into both lanes. And we're damn good at what we do in both those lanes. We're just as good as them in both lanes. And we get just as much privilege in both lanes. So that's why they have so much disdain for us. So yes, spreading propaganda against the black race as a whole is what the larger society has done throughout history, and that is what the unambiguous dark-skinned black people who don't like MLS people, that's what they are doing when they constantly slander us, when they constantly say that we're stuck up and that we are colorists and that we're featurists, texturists, when they get on Chris Brown and say things like, I don't see any woman around him that's chocolate. I don't see a dark-skinned woman anywhere around him. First of all, dark-skinned women don't even like light-skinned men. I mean, they say it all the time. They curb light-skinned men constantly. They said, I've even heard like some black women say that they'll rather date a white guy over a light-skinned man. So they don't even like light-skinned men, but they want you to desire them. You are supposed to desire them. You're supposed to chase after them, have all your children with them, marry them. They definitely want to keep light-skinned people, MLS people, apart. They don't want the men and the women dating each other. They don't want us to have a preference for each other. Much like how the larger society did black people. They want to separate the men and the women and have like this wedge between the two. Everybody just gets so offended when they see a mixed and light-skinned male and female get together. My phone is just making so much noise while I'm trying to record this video. It is so hilarious. I am so sorry. But yeah, the propaganda is a big one. And that's what the unambiguous dark-skinned population, the ones that don't like us, the ones that don't like MLS people, that's what they do. They spread propaganda. Just like it was done to them, they do it to us. Another way in which unambiguous dark-skinned black people act like white people, or act like the white people of the black race, is that they have so many countless slurs that they have made up. Now, you do have slurs that are for the black general population that was made up years and years and years ago by the larger society during, those dark historical days of slavery and stuff like that. So the larger society would call black people in general, it didn't matter if they were light or dark or biracial or whatever, they would call us monkeys, they would call us jungle bunnies or coons or something like that. But the unambiguous dark-skinned black population, as of late, has come up with several different slurs for the MLS population. Squawking birds, raw chickens, half-breeds, mutts, you name it. They have all different kinds of slurs for us that they have come up with. And they do it to dehumanize the MLS population, to invalidate us, and to make us ashamed of who we are, make us feel as though we are not as valued in the black culture or in the black community as a dark-skinned person. And to me, it's just like a white supremacist, gives conditional love to their family members. Well, I love you as long as you're white. If you're not white, I can't stand you. I hate you. To me, that's conditional love. And that's the same thing unambiguous dark-skinned black people do to each other. I love you as long as you're dark-skinned. If you're not dark-skinned, I don't love you. You know, if you're black, you're all right, or black, you're you're good, but if you're light, get back or something. However that saying goes. But anyway, another way in which unambiguous dark-skinned black people like to behave like the larger society is, or act like the white people of the black community is, they like to instill fear. They like to control the MLS population with fear. If we dare to speak out against the things that they say, or dare to check them or challenge them, you get threatened with physical harm, doxing, whatever extreme measure that needs to be taken to silence you. A lot of times, other content creators or just the general public will threaten you with those tactics, which is no different than what the larger society did to the formerly enslaved. They use violence to control you, and that is what I see happening, or attempts to control the MLS population. But that is all I can think of for right now. Let me know what you think in the comments, if you can come up with some other ways in which unambiguous dark-skinned black people are really the white people of the black community and not MLS people. Let me know in the comments if you can think of any other ways in which they behave that way. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys next time.